Ты здесь будешь потом?
Что?
Hello, this is room number one.
Я поэтому и хочу как раз таки... так что... Ой, слушай, как у тебя так монитор интересно стоит, его не видно.
В смысле не видно?
Ну, вот так вот надо заглядывать.
Мне зачем туда заглядывать? У меня все репетиция туда.
Вообще, да. Не, как-то в бой показать, что вот... Смотрите, тут
я буду стоять, да. Я буду стоя, когда показываю.
Не, у меня просто больше и в Wialon.
Просто каски не дали.
Или у тебя? Может, давай отодвинем чуть-чуть? Стол вот как-то вот сюда вот. Вот. Как бы, чтобы пройти можно было, да.
Ну, я буду в основном стоять, но просто у меня вообще слайдов нету. Я буду чисто, CMS, то есть там, получается, буду показывать просто им, как создается там тарифник, там учетка, как там что-то.
Тема какая? Не SDK?
CMS. У меня два тренинга.
У тебя два тренинга.
То, что мы тогда были, помнишь, когда репетировали, это было SDK у меня с Пашей.
А сейчас-то один, да?
Да, это будет где-то то ли в час, то ли в два, я уже не помню. Ну, короче, сначала этот отвести.
Да.
И тут
еще
целый
час это, конечно,
стримить буду.
Нет, стримить ладно, я вот...
Не, тренинг по видео должен это видео.
Не, просто, честно говоря, вот на репетицию я, целый час, потому что говоришь, что надо помнить, что показывать еще. На самом деле, вот достаточно напряжно по времени, что целый час. То есть уже я, честно говоря,
смотри, если хочешь, в принципе, можешь посидеть, послушать.
Не, я там еще. На самом
Ну,
деле, я сам уже устал.
Смотри, вот уже 10:00, и вот.
Да. Но я, честно
говоря,
у тебя просто первый видишь, пока еще не все собрались.
Да, мы их же там уже подгоняли, вот, допустим, на репорты уже пошли.
Да? Может, я буду единственный, кто дойдет?
Я вообще у нашей Юли, Вилу спрашивал, кто записался на наш тренинг. Там что-то человек 10. Ну, они же там не спешат, там кто-то опоздает. Вот уже 10 часов, как бы, уже, в принципе, надо начинать.
Ладно, пойду.
Но я постараюсь не задерживаться.
Нет, так ничего, чем как бы меньше времени, как бы, у меня же там, знаешь, как бы
Вот тебя так...
оборудование один задний идет, поэтому одно как бы...
У тебя есть плавающее, то есть ты можешь чуть больше рассказать.
Да, ну то есть там 4 оборудования, ну не смог там четвертое, сказал, что подойдете.
Мне кажется, по CMS просто можно, есть еще там всякие трансляторы, экспорт, импорт, всякие там конфигурация апсов, там еще какие-то дашборд, то есть о них можно рассказать.
Ну да, ты тогда тоже под конец я стал
оборудование,
которое...
Я всем говорю, комната 2 туда, комната 1 туда.
СМС хотят, потому что как-то подозрительно.
Нет, пришел кот еще спросил про Room 2, да?
У тебя уже сидят там люди?
Да, человек 12.
О.
Может, они действительно
А
хотели?
что ты к нам пришла?
Нет,
А что ты сюда пришла?
Я пошла посмотреть, может, кто-то ищет.
У вас мало людей.
Можно поменяться.
Кстати, да. А мы поменялись.
Не, я у них сейчас на всякий случай еще раз спрошу всех.
Ну, ко мне двое заходили,
Не, ну,
они спрашивали, где, ну, Room 2, я говорю, Room 2.
Ну, а что-то, в принципе, да, что-то же могут интересует. Нас, наверное, не знаю, даже Игорь, наверное, не все знает по отчету. Правильно?
Я
Честно,
сегодня...
Wialon полностью вообще никто
Да,
не
да,
знает.
еще
Ни разработчики там, не знаю.
Столько всяких нюансов.
Уже 10, наверное, 02 даже.
Мы еще 5 минут будем ждать. Hello.
Все.
Here will be the training about CMS, yes?
Oh, excuse me?
Here will be the training about CMS manager side, yes?
Yes.
Все, удачи.
Not so many people.
Yeah. I'm new at this, so I work with
The
this.
information will be useful for different levels.
Well, Igor, can I take some chairs from you? Maybe one or two?
Oh, well.
More, yeah.
Вы можете показать эту ОБС-ку?
Что?
Вот эту штуку. Стримчик. Вот, нет, вот сюда. Да. Все, сверни. Сверни ее.
Надо что-то делать, когда они начнут? Вообще ничего.
Она уже идет.
Она уже идет.
Я еще
Лучше начинать.
А?
Сколько лучше начинать? Что там еще будет? Человек.
А ты можешь еще раз открыть, чтобы я
Юля собирается.
открой еще раз посмотреть, что ты попадал в кадр, если что я просто поправлю это. Все нормально, ты попадаешь, в общем, может приблизительно еще тебя. Как ты думаешь? Ну, смотри на картину. Вот здесь. Может тебя приблизить?
Ну, можешь приблизить, а что ты
Я
просто
не
хочу наломать.
Не, все, сверни, пока. Ты еще не начинаешь, да? Еще минут 5 будешь ждать.
Может, одну-две.
1-2 минуты, да?
Я не знаю. Я будет еще стоит.
Can you guys see the screen? Yeah. More or less. Maybe a little bit, Igor, maybe zoom in a little more.
It's okay.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah,
Good.
that's much better.
I think we will start about 1 minute. Maybe
Let's
someone
just see
else will
if anybody
come.
else is looking for this.
No?
Hi.
Okay, so we are going to start. Let me introduce myself. My name is Wialon and I am a technical support specialist at Go. The topic of today's training is service hierarchy in Wialon. So, please fill this form. In Wialon hosting, there is cms.wialon.com site. I hope you all know this if you are working with hosting. In Wialon local, there is the same conception, but DNS is a different one. It is set up in admin interface, and the DNS is pointed to the IP address of Wialon local server. In Wialon hosting, you can also activate some personalized DNS for the CMS manager side. Well, this site is designed for the managers where they can deal with macro and micro objects that are available in Wialon. The macro objects are accounts, billing plans, users, units, unit groups, retranslators, and trash. Not trash. Trash is some type of object. So they have one common feature that each of these entities in Wialon has a creator. I will introduce this definition a little bit later. So during this training, I will try to explain you how you can deal with those objects and how important is the well-organized hierarchy and what you can do to build a powerful structure of accounts according to your business model. So before we move onto the practical examples, let me highlight the main concepts of the hierarchy. So the definition of hierarchy is that it aggregates users, all users, users with their accounts that are available. Hello, please come in. that are available in a particular service. So it's an aggregation of users, but with one feature that each user is placed on one level. Now I'll try to explain you.
I think this is not the right training session. It's video. It's mentioned it as video at my.
Well, no, if people already signed, we can just change.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
Cross off the name.
We'll change the subject. So in Wialon hosting, after you sign a contract with Gotham, you get some top account. It is your customer identifier. So this is an account and a user with the same name. Thank you. This user is placed on the level 1. And in Wialon Local, the same situation. You install this product and a special username to Wialon is created as well as its account. It is created automatically and you also start using your service with it. So then you log into this interface and in the very beginning you have no other users and no other accounts, so just your top user placed on the first level. And then you start creating users or maybe users with accounts for your customers. And while you create the first user, it is placed on the second level. In terms of Wialon, one customer is usually one account. So we usually suggest to create a separate account for one particular customer. So I have spelled the word account quite often, but now I'd like to introduce the definition of what is account. Maybe do you know what is account in Wialon? In terms of Wialon?
The main login.
Yes,
Yes.
it's some basic word, and many times our partners, when they speak about account, they can mean, for example, resource or user. So usually there is there is no so much differentiation between those entities. Right? I'd like to show you the difference. Account in Wialon is a unity of 3 other macro objects. The first one is user. Second one is resource. And finally, the third is billing plan.
The second one
Is
was
resource. So you see that I have defined account with 3 other definitions. So it may be not so clear because here we use just one definition, here we have even 3. So
Today the main problem we encounter every day is the relation between users and resource. You know, from the account. When we have an account, we have many users, and sometimes we need to upload some resource to another users. You know,
yes, you can create
drivers or reports or something, and this is very complicated. It's not a very easy.
So different resources, a lot of resources can be created in one account, but it's about the definition. So account consists of user. This user is the creator of this account. So here we introduce another definition that is create. Only users can be creators of accounts. What is user? User is just some login that you type when you authorize in Wialon sites. It has its password, and some other properties. Only users can have rights on other different objects in Wialon. And also, according to the hierarchy conception, users can apply rights for other users on the objects that they have rights to, and only according to their ACL level rights. So, for example, if one user has rights just to view some properties, and he has rights on another user, so he can give this another user rights also just to view some unit. So he cannot give another user more rights than he already has. Also, user cannot assign rights for himself, so it's just clear. And if one of the customers wants to extend his rights, so he should ask you or some user that stands on a higher level of hierarchy, and he can reduce or expand his LCL level of rights. Okay, now for user, now we go to the definition of resource. So I like the definition when resource is explained as a kind of container for not macro but micro objects. So micro objects in Wialon are notifications, geofences, drivers, trailers, jobs. So I hope you know all this. And yes.
Sorry to interrupt. I have a question regarding resources and sharing resources among accounts. Okay, it might be very specific. If it is,
yeah,
please let me know, and we
yes.
can discuss it later.
Yes.
But I have an issue because we work with the SDK a lot. So one of the main issues we have is that when we try to get together, when we share, for example, geofences is the best example. We work with geofences from one resource. Okay, and then we share units from another user, in this case, probably pertaining to another account. Okay, but when we try to extract them from the SDK, sometimes it doesn't work because they are from different accounts. So my question is there a way to share resources between accounts? I understand that you can authorize a user to get access to that part or to those elements, geofences, units, drivers, and that sort of things, reports even. But my question is, can you share resources with another account, or you can only download the information like geofences and then upload it into the second resource or the account, so you can work with them together?
Okay, if I understood you correctly, resource in this scheme is part of account, but account can consist of many resources. So you can create a lot of resources in one account. But if you would like to, if you log in as a user from another account, yes, and you want to download geofences from the first account, so this user should have rights on the appropriate resource. So the rights are assigned only for users, not for accounts. So account is like a combination of this.
You know, I understand that the resources belong to one account. I actually didn't know that one account could have several resources. That's very important.
Yes, so just in this scheme, the resource is a part of this account. But one account can have many users, many resources,
and the resources can only be shared with users, not other accounts.
Yes, only users can have rights. But if you have additional questions, you can
but they're very specific. Thank you.
Yes, okay. So resource is a kind of container for notifications, jobs, and other micro objects in Wialon. But with only having a user and resource, a manager wouldn't have an ability to limit services for specific customer. A manager won't have ability to do payments, apply some costs for particular services, and here comes the billing plan. it's the third part of account. Billing plan can be explained as a set of services with some additional options. Those services are applied to the account, but can be redefined later. So maybe the explanation is a little bit tough, but in the next part we will have some practical examples, and I will show you how you can deal with these. Okay, and as I already told, the user, resource, and account, they all have a creator. So a creator can be only user, and there cannot be account or user or resource without creator. So it's just the basic definition. And now I would like to introduce you a scheme that you may already know. It is listed in our documentation. This is the scheme that we recommend to use in your service. So it assumes that you have a top account. In all services you will have it. But you don't start to create immediately services for your customers and create a special second level account for your manager. This is just a recommendation. It is not obligatory, and I should say that when you have a small service, it doesn't play so. It isn't so important to have such scheme. But as far as you grow and you have more and more customers, it becomes quite important to have a well-organized scheme. So one of the key ideas here is to have a second-level account for managers. So you know that when you log in as a top account, you have a lot of important options available there. You can activate modules, create billing plans, configure apps, and do a lot of other important things. But with this idea, you leave this access only to the owners, for example, of your company. And give your manager who creates accounts for customers the access to the second level account. Of course, with dealer rights and the ability to assign billing plans. And also here we recommend to use one account for each customer. So we recommend to avoid using just user for customer, because later you will see that it is very useful. Okay, so now I would like to move to the practical part and show you what you can do with all this knowledge. So here I'm logged in CMS Manager site. I will show you examples in our Get and Test account. So the same actions can be done in your top account in Wialon, local or hosting, no matter. Okay, so this is our new service, and here we can create a manager account. So you know this dialog box. Here we assign some name for the manager, and with creating an account, we create a user as well with the same name, and this user will be a creator of this account. So we assign some already created billing plans. So you start the service and you have one billing plan created automatically. So you can apply this billing plan for this account. Okay, so it will be our manager account. In order to have possibility to create accounts manager account should have the dealer rights option enabled, and also it should have some billing plan assigned that it can assign to the accounts of lower levels. Now I would like to show you that, how we can create a billing plan. So this is a dialog box. When you just create your billing plan, there is only one tab here. Okay, so I put some name for it. For now, I just leave these fields with their default values. Then I search for my billing plan, go to its properties.
What is the line with currency format? What is it?
Currency format is the field where you can apply, for example, dollars or euros, so the currencies that will be used in your billing plan.
Okay.
So if you want dollars, you just put this sign here, and dollars will be used here, or any other sign of your currency in your country. So when we go to the properties of already created billing plan, we have two tabs here. Name is left unchanged, and let me show you other options available here. So in this field, you can apply the email. It will be used as a sender's email when Wialon sends emails by notifications and jobs. So if you use this functionality, you can, for example, send a report by job, or set up notification that will trigger by mail, and the email from will be this email from this billing plan. Also, you can set up block by balance, limit by balance, block by days options. If you would like
What is the what is the meaning of balance?
Balance is an option of account. So each account has its own balance. When you create a new account, its balance is equal to 0. But you can do the payments, and also you can set the cost for services. When we will create a customer account, I will show you how you can do the payments and how you can assign the costs for services. Okay. Also, a history period is set up here, and some description. Now we move to the second tab, which is services. And I would like to show you example of customer that needs, for example, some specific functionality, and I will disable most of the services in billing plan, and will leave only the ones that are needed for some customer. I will leave him the possibility to create geofences.
Okay, for resume, a billing plan is a typical account we can assign to a new account.
Yes, billing plan is like a template for services. Yes. And when you apply the billing plan to account, to newly created account, it receives the same possibilities as they are set up in the billing plan. So if
I have a question. What would be the difference between those service restrictions and the ones that you assign on the user or on the account?
These restrictions specified in the billing plan are assigned to the account.
Okay.
So user, of course, will, for example, if a user's account has some limit of geofences, so of course a user who has rights to create geofences won't be able to create more geofences that are specified here.
So we could say this is a first tier of permissions.
Yes,
or
it may be called so, yes.
Okay.
So just for example, I leave the limitation here. I continue disabling unnecessary services. Okay, this is enough. I will also disable the access to one of the sites. Let it be root.hosting.wialon.com. So now my bidding plan is created. I go back to my manager account. It has some other bidding plan that is already created automatically. I also check that my manager has access to management system, because when this service is disabled, he won't be able to authorize in CMS. And in restrictions tab, I find my new bidding plan and add it to the list of assigned bidding plans. Okay, now I can authorize in CMS with my manager account. This account is on the second level of hierarchy. So it is highlighted in blue. And my top account is good on test. Okay, I agree with regulations. So the system also asks me to change a password. Okay, here I'm logged in as a manager. Now I would like to create an account for my customer. I click this dialog box. Give it some name. And now what is important, I will assign our test bidding plan to this customer's account. Okay, I click OK. And now when I go to the customer's account properties, you see that many services are disabled. So all these services were disabled in the bidding plan. So the account receives the state of each service immediately. You see that geofences are also limited. This colon and semicolon are added automatically, but the meaning is the same. So this account can create up to 3 geofences, and -1 here means that the first and other geofences are forbidden for it.
What was that? Could you repeat that, please?
I have meant that while creating the bidding plan, I have just inputted the number 3. And here, when I go to the account properties, I see that the system has automatically added colon, semicolon, and some other numbers. So the meaning is the same. So the functionality is not changed. Here is just another format, an expanded format of the same limitation. So 3 geofences are allowed, and -1 means that the 4th and the 5th and other geofences are forbidden. Okay, now I would like to log in as my new customer user. And show you how these limitations work. Here I do the same. In the user properties, you can see the state of the services available to the particular user. Here you see that I have no geofences in use, but my limit is 3 geofences.
So at this point, the customer just create 3 geofence, and that's it.
Yes. So the map is uploaded, and I'll show you just the creation of some geofences. I will copy the first one. It is geofence 2. This one is geofence 3. Now I want to create a first one, and the system tells me that I have reached my limit, so I should contact my manager and ask him for possibility to extend the number of geofences. Okay, let's suppose that I have done this. We switch to the CMS site and where we have logged in as a manager. So we can go to the account properties and extend the limit. So the state of the geofences service is not changed in billing plan. So it is 3 geofences in billing plan, but I extend that service only for a particular account.
Okay. Yes. So the first, so the limits set on the billing plan are just presets.
Yes.
You call them presets.
Presets or templates. Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So if I do this, I will have a possibility to create more geofences as a customer. Okay, so when I press the new, the system allows me to create the first geofence. Well, the second service that I would like to highlight is the access to the sites. I have forbidden the access to this particular monitoring site, and if I sometime want to do this, so the system won't let me go in, and this type of error means that I have not mistaken in my username or password, so the access is denied by billing rules. There are 2 types of services in billing plans, accounts. The first type is the first type of services is called periodical. It means that we can assign some cost table for such service, and it will affect the balance of account. Okay, for example, we have unit service. I will show you an example. Here in account, now that service is not limited, but what if I want to assign some cost for my customer? For example, 1 unit will cost 10 points. It may be dollars, euros, or other currency. So I just type the cost in such format. Number 1 here just means that 1 unit costs 10 points.
So you separate that with the semicolon. I can see it from you.
It is just a colon. 1 colon 10.
So amount of units, colon, price, basically.
Not so. There is kind of format, special format. It is listed in our documentation. So it allows to bill, for example, if you from the first unit to the fifth, for example, here one unit will cost 10 points. From the 6th to 20th, one unit will cost, for example, some less money, for example, $5.
That's in the documentation?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Is the value of the points?
So,
The value is not money. Is
No, I think that's a currency.
it is a currency you have used in the...
yes.
Yes.
So if you set the euro currency, so those points are actually money.
Yes.
Okay.
Monetary units.
Yes, I switched to the top account and in the billing plans you can set some currency. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Can you give an example? I'm sorry to insist, but can you give an example of how to set the limits or the thresholds or the intervals for units and prices, please? Because that's one of the things that it's not hard. We're not used to configuring. That's why we're here today. And I'd like to see if it's possible to have an example of how to set intervals, because that's the way.
please explain what intervals do you mean. So here is another column called reset, and here you specify the interval. So it can be hourly, daily, weekly, monthly. It means that with the start of new interval, the balance of this account will be recalculated. Okay, so for example, okay, let me switch to the allowed side. Okay, for example, in my customer account, I create 2 units. Unit 1. And unit 2. So if I go to the account properties, I see in the billing that I have 2 units created. So how this cost will work? Okay, with the such numbers entered here, and providing that I have set the monthly interval, okay, I just forgot to do the payment. So there is a possibility to add some payment. For example, 100 points. So I see that it is registered. Okay, so the balance is $100 of the customer's account. So if I have set the cost for the units, so it will work in the following way. My account has 2 units created. 2 times 10 is 20. The current balance of account is 100. 100 take away 20 is 80. So in the beginning of the new month, so no matter when I have applied this cost, it may be today or the last day of the month, so in the beginning of the new month, so on the 1st of September, the balance of my customer's account will change from 100
Okay,
to 80.
so we have to interpret balance as a credit initially. So all balances are with 0, and if they owe you money, it means that it's minus something.
Yes.
Okay. So you could have probably the way it was thought is that clients prepay something, so they
Yes,
have like
it may
a huge credit or X amount of credit, and then it gets subtracted depending on the amount of units or things you charge.
Yes, according to your
Okay.
business model, you can use this functionality.
Yes, thank you.
So we can insert in the balance 36 months of the credit. That's
Yeah.
Yes, if you do
they
this
prepay
by
on-
paying,
yes.
each month when the client's debit.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I'm
We
understanding.
get 20 or 50 or
Yes, but you should set some cost, for example, for units, yes?
okay.
And the
Great.
balance will be reduced in the beginning of each interval. And also there is a possibility to add and control your account by days. Yes.
I have another question.
Okay.
This is getting interesting. If I build an application, okay, and
Okay.
I set it up on the CMS, the CMS,
Yes.
okay, then I know I can see it on the services, and you can
Yes,
activate
you
it
will
and
see it.
deactivate it. I can also input a cost to it.
Oh, that is what I wanted to,
Oh, okay.
to highlight you. So, the first type of services is a periodical service, yes? And there is another type of services, which is so-called on-demand. For these services, we can just apply the state enabled or disabled. So only such service as CMS, SMS messages, it is also on demand, and only for this on-demand service we can set some cost table for text messages. Yes? But if you have such service as access to some site, access to some app, for example, access to CMS management site, it can have the state enabled or disabled. So you can put there some number, for example, for SDK you can put the number 5, yes, but it won't mean anything. Yes. If it is enabled, users can use it, and if it is disabled, for example, for the site, user will try to authorize and will get the access denied.
Just to add on, maybe for clarity in what they are saying, we already we've already set up billing plans according to the different we set up service types for our clients. So what we do, we give price per day. So a client can buy 5 days. So if the service is at 2 days, then they will lose connection to the system, and then they will have to buy more using. We set up an app so they can buy on their phone, and then we'll reconnect them.
Okay, that's cool.
Okay, now that I have showed you the possibilities, if you have an additional questions about the, for example, your service hierarchy, or for example, you want to add a manager account, so you can always write us to support@guton.com, or during the conference you can, of course, go to our support room, which is the next one here on the 9th floor. And especially on Fridays will be a welcome day, and contact any specialist, and if you have some questions we will answer you, or if you want to ask us to analyze your hierarchy, your particular hierarchy, we can also do this. You are welcome.
Yeah, I have a question about the account and the users.
Oh, of course.
Today is an issue you have every week because we sign with a big client in France. And this client want to see in the administrator account all resources, you know, vehicles, drivers, geofence, everything, reports, and fuel consumption, everything, you know. So then we create different users in different region, you know, in Bordeaux, Toulouse, if you know France, and French wine and something, okay? And we create many users, but the users see every drivers, every geofence, every resource, you know, and users call us and tell us what is this driver. So the driver from Toulouse appears in Strasbourg, you know, and it's very complicated for us. So at the moment, we create every time for a user a new account, and the new account we reliable we join the new account to the administrator account, you know. So it's very complicated, and in my mind, I thought that it was probably simple from the main account to create. So one of the specialists of GureTime sent me an email and tell me create resource, export driver, re-import driver, export geofence. Say, wow,
so very simple.
it's not simple. So is there something very simple to affect some drivers from one region, you know, something, or a driver of users in the count?
Okay, so you need to somehow distinguish, yes, the drivers from different regions. Maybe the idea from our specialist was to yes, create some resources for drivers from particular region. Yes.
Yes, but the problem is that when a user creates drivers,
maybe a group of drivers.
Yes, but the problem is all region and all users see all drivers, and this is the.
But is
you know what I mean or not?
But one customer works in one region.
Show you,
okay, yes.
So,
what we do is that we create a master account, and then we create sub-accounts for each region in this case, and you can create all drivers in the main account, and then you create groups for each one of the regions, and let the regional account have permission to see the group of unit resources, geofences that correspond to that specific region. And if a driver gets reassigned from Paris to Toulouse, you only switch or add that driver to another group, and that way you can have a dynamic way of assigning drivers and geofences.
So here my main account, drivers, okay,
yes,
geofence, blah 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 blah. Okay, you see everything. So user one here create their own drivers, geofence, etc. Okay. This one too. Okay.
Yes, clear.
And this one too.
Yes.
Okay. So the main account here see everything here.
Yes, the main account has access to everything.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, okay. So the problem is when every region, every user creates drivers, geofence, the user one see the drivers or user three, etc., etc.
Maybe they have one common resource. So you here you have highlighted the users.
The user one.
Yes, but users
do not want to see the drivers or user three.
Users create drivers and geofences in some resource. Yes, in some account. So it cannot be just user and driver. I have told that resource is a kind of container, yes, for example, for drivers. So for the user, in order to create some driver, he needs to put the driver in some resource, yes, in some container. And my question is, what resource is used here? Is it one common resource?
Yes, the common resource of the main account.
Oh. But if each of these users has some separate resource,
so we need to create a new resource.
Yes, yes.
But not a new account, just a new resource.
Because, for example, if you have just one resource, yes, so users have ACL rights, for example, to view and to edit drivers, yes. But this right is assigned to a particular resource. And it is assigned for all drivers of this resource. So if you have one resource and user 1, 2, 3 have the view and edit rights on drivers on this resource, they will receive the rights on all drivers.
Okay, that just means that when I create a new user, I create a new resource.
Yes, it's better to create an account. Yes. An account will contain the user and resource and the billing plan possibilities.
Okay, and when I create the new resource, the user 3 do not see the drivers or the resource of the user 1.
Yes, unless you give specially him this.
Okay.
May I give, we have a similar scenario. May
Yes.
I give a demonstration of what we do?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, so we have this one big client, and they have they're operating in different regions in East Africa, actually all the East African countries, but the business of Uganda is not Kenya's business, so you have to separate. So we created a resource called X, that's the client themselves. Then we had to come here and create users named after each country. So when we are creating the sub-users, we put into consideration the country. At this level, you can see all these drivers and everything. Yeah. So, but at this level, you only see drivers and any resources.
Yes, so they have a separate resource.
Yes. So the client, we give them access to only this level per region. So if this person changes from Rwanda, say for example, to this other place, then we bind them to this group, the Uganda group.
So you create a new resource every time.
We have one resource, one big huge resource.
Yeah,
Well, you create everything you create, units, drivers, CO fences, you create from the top account, and from the top account you give permission to below.
Yes.
And the thing is that in your case, I believe that they have separate operations, and each account is the one that creates the drivers.
Exactly.
So you need to use resources.
You need to control. You need to create from the resource level.
Yeah.
If you create from the user level, then it will be too much work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yes,
Thank
this scheme is working with us, and you may use it.
Great.
Okay, now that we have some time, I would like to say that the possibilities that you see in billing plan options in CMS Manager are not the only possibilities. There are some hidden ones that are not available here. And I would like to say that with the use of billing plan, you can ask us to limit modems. If you use that functionality when you use, for example, SMPP modem or GSM modem, we can assign a particular modem for particular billing plan. Also, you can limit or rename device types. In some cases, it is necessary for our partners, and they ask us to rename some devices, and because they sell them to their customers as some branded model. So these possibilities can be fulfilled only by contacting our support team. You cannot limit or rename modems or device types in CMS Manager interface. Well, okay, we have seen what we can do with macro and micro objects in CMS interface. So we have created a sample customer account and have seen what we can do with services and other billing plan possibilities in Wialon. So the scheme that we recommend to use is always available in documentation. And of course, if you have questions about your service structure or any other questions related to the hierarchy, you can contact us during the conference or later by writing to support. Maybe you have any other questions about the function?
I do.
Yeah.
Regarding the creators,
Yes.
is it possible to change creators? And if so, because I understand that in some very specific scenarios you're able to do it, but for me it's only luck. Sometimes I can, sometimes I don't. So I would like to know how is it possible and when is it possible to change creators?
So several years ago there was not such possibility at all. Okay? Then about 2 years ago our developers have implemented the functionality of changing units creator. So this option is available in a CMS interface. You can use this switch account dialog box and change the units creator.
Only for units?
Only for units, in CMS interface, yes. Okay, but as we have received a lot of similar inquiries from our partners that wanted to move account to another thread of hierarchy and something like this, or to insert this account to the second level, which is highlighted in blue. Yes, so that can be such possibility, and you should contact either support team or your business development managers. Then we will analyze your request, and in some cases it is done with some special support tool, and in more complex cases we contact the developers and they see what they can do. So it can be possible, and if you want, so you can contact them.
But thank you. But basically, so to change creators, you have to go up, and then, for example, you have, in that case, imagine there are two different users or accounts.
Mm-hmm.
If I have created, in your case, for example, he has created a unit from user 1. Let's say user 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
He needs to change the creator to unit 2. Because, for example, the unit A from user 1 needs to be transferred to the user number 2. I will need to assign that creator to first the master account and then go again below to user number 2. Or from my CMS, I can simply switch it to whatever user I want.
Yes, you can switch.
Okay. Thank you.
There are some other conditions, but so if you want to switch some unit and you don't see the account in the list, so you need to check its services. Maybe it has the limit running out of the units, or the creation of unit services is disabled, or there are not enough rights. So you just need to check or to contact our team and we'll check it for
Thank you.
So there is also some other functionality in CMS interface, like retranslators, unit groups. While logged in as a top account, you can also configure apps here. Also, there is an export-import tool and our new dashboard functionality that presents some kind of statistics. Yes, so you can just read about it in documentation on our blog, or if you have any other questions, maybe specifics.
Sorry.
Okay, so
I do have one.
just your questions.
I do have one question about the account. Can you come back to the account, please? Yes. You see, close the unit. Yes. You see in the unit, the unit column. No. In the account.
In the account.
The unit column.
Yes.
In my own CMS, when I create a new account, so I create units for this account, and in my CMS, I never see the number of units of the accounts.
Probably you have created a unit
So
in some
probably
other account.
I
Yes,
missed something,
yes.
but I don't know what.
It's a matter of billing. You can just type the name of account and we'll check. Oh, just give us the name of this account and we will check.
But it's for all. The only number of unit I can see is the unit of the main account. This is our account.
Probably you create units only in your main account, no? How you create units? From the main account or from the customers?
Yes, of course. Yes, we create the account of the new client, and we create units, and we affect these units to the account. So we do that by our account, our main account. So probably that's the reason we cannot see the number of units, because this is the main account which creates. That's it.
Please tell us your account name and we will check, okay?
Yes, I can do that.
I remember that you are from France
No,
and wrote link, it was...
I will send you an email.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for your attention. So please join the next trainings.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Będzie nebūti samas, tipo gali šis pagal units, tipo units čia mašinos. Tai tipo gali nustatyti. Tai tipo gali 1 iki 10 kainuoja ten 2 eurai, nuo 11 iki 20 kainuoja pusantro, o tipo tas pats VIP sąskaitų vis tiek visiems šitą ataskaitą tokią su kainom, su viskuo, tada čia paprasčiau. Tai sąskaitą.
Я не уверена. Gentlemen, while you're here, can I ask you please to write down your name so we know who participated in the training?
Где у нас линк здесь на нашей презентации?
Ты реально не сможешь сейчас открыть пресс, да?
Ну да. Hello, dear partners. We need to wait a little because I need to prepare some Wialon accounts to start our presentation. The rest, please take a little rest for about 5 minutes. Да, Сергей, здесь
вот клавиатура тебе. Используй клавиатуру эту.
Нет, дело в том, что мне нужно смотреть. Мне нужно открыть рядом здесь линк мою презентацию. Рядом. Отдельно линк. А здесь есть скайп? Здесь скайп есть?
Да введи уже вручную.
Презентацию?
Ссылку.
Как я могу вручную вести?
Ну тебе же есть доступ.
Нет. Подожди.
Я клавиатуру тоже использую. Ну что обычно? Клавиатура здесь страдает. Вот тебе клавиатура.
Сейчас. Да, что сделать?
Возьми вот эту клавиатуру.
Она от меня что, страдает?
Ну да.
Да, что такое?
Ты пароль слишком большой сделал.
Что?
Пароль слишком большой.
Да что такое? Блин.
Так, а как это? Да, давай это Space, открывай приватную вкладку, наверное, в приватной вкладке логинься и заходи в свой Space.
Нет, ну...
Открывай приватную вкладку, логинься, она хотя, в принципе, хрен с ним, логинься здесь, Нет, какой? Размай?
Wi-Fi нет или что?
Да нет, Мигуртоннет, в Space попадешь. Давай, Enter. Логинься. Поле так что давай, логинься. Space.
Я там пускала листик, чтобы они записывали имена. Ты можешь его найти?
Да, они тут еще под... Хочешь, давай телек выключим, чтобы эту информацию не видно.
Вот, да?
Телематика, да. Вниз. Вот тебе Google Drive. На драйве она у тебя лежит.
Она лежит в папке Telematics. Вот сюда. Сюда иди, вот сюда.
Нет.
Вот сюда, вот сюда.
Пальцем она тыкает.
Тыкни сюда.
Да?
Да. Еще раз.
Открывай, какая?
Presentation сюда.
Presentation.
Сюда.
Дейно.
Дейно. Еще раз, 2 раза. Класс.
Все? Все довольны?
Так, view.
Сделай view.
The receiver is good because it's very close.
Yes, yes.
So-
Ready to begin, guys.
Yes. We are going to begin. I hope that everyone who wanted to come and visit our training is already here. So please be seated if you have a place to sit. So let us start. First, welcome to training video solutions in Wialon. Let me first introduce myself. My name is Dmitry Kvitko. I'm a developer in the hardware integration department. And since the integration of the first video recording device yet 4 years ago, I've been involved as a developer in the integration of all video recording devices in Wialon. So what is the goal of our training? The main goal is to present you an overview of main video recording devices in Wialon, to show you how they interact with Wialon, for you to understand this process much better, and to demonstrate you the main video functions of these devices, such as requesting video files and viewing live video. So the agenda of our training is the following. I'll present you the devices one by one. In the end of each presentation, we will devote a pair of minutes to some of the questions which may arise at once, and in the end of our training, we will devote enough time to all your questions. That is why please take notes for us to be able to discuss all that you are interested in. So let us start our training. I will sit down. First, let me present you the complete list of video recording devices which are available in Wialon now. We can see the complete list on our website. So we just go to Guten.com. Then we go to hardware, GPS hardware, and we can select video monitoring. So as you can see, we already have 9 video recording devices, and in fact it's already quite a good choice. We do not have time to overview all the devices. That is why I'll present you the following ones. At first it will be Streamex X3 device type from Chinese manufacturer Streamex Technology. Then Hero ME device type, also from Chinese manufacturer Hoven Technologies. Then we'll talk about IVG 410 from Svision company in Israel. And then we finish with device type Smart Witness Gateway from company Smart Witness in the United Kingdom. So why these device types and not others? The matter is that these device types utilize different patterns of communication with Wialon. And thus, it will allow me to demonstrate you all possible ways of how video solutions can be integrated with Wialon. So let us start reviewing the devices one by one. As I said, the first device type will be Streamex X3 device type. Please look at this slide. As you can see, GPS data and video files. So what is this scheme? This is the scheme of communication between Wialon server, Streamex device, and Wialon web application. So as for GPS data and video files, they are sent directly from Streamex device to Wialon server. And commands, including the commands to request video files, are sent directly by GSM channel, and namely by GPRS channel, from Wialon server to the Streamex device type, to the Streamex device. And in this regard, Streamex device works with Wialon absolutely in the same way as a usual GPS tracker. And this is very familiar to you. But as for live video, the pattern of communication is absolutely different. So in this case, please look at the slide where my mouse is. Yeah. So if you look at the slide, when you view this video from Wialon, Wialon server is not involved in this process at all. So the key elements of the process of viewing this video are the following ones. The first element is in fact your personal computer or notebook, on which you open an internet browser, log in your Wialon account, and log in your Wialon account. The second element is Streamax Saber server with RTMP service. And at last, the next element is Streamax device itself. So I think these elements are familiar to you, that's why I'll not explain them, but I will focus on this element. So what is Streamax Saber server and RTMP service? Streamax Saber server is a native Streamax software. It was developed by Streamax Technologies and it is provided by this company. And RTMP service is a service which was specially developed by Streamax Technology for the purpose of viewing live video in Wialon. And Streamax Saber server together with RTMP service must be installed somewhere on your own personal computer or on your server or somewhere in the cloud. So when we view live video, the next operations take place. We log in, we open an internet browser on your personal computer or notebook, log in Wialon account and launch video player in Wialon. And video player in Wialon, right from your personal computer, communicates with RTMP service. And RTMP service interacts with Streamax Saber server, which in the same time communicates with the Streamax device. So thus, Streamax Saber server is like an intermediate server for viewing with video from Wialon web, from Streamax devices in the Wialon web application. So I hope you understand, but still, if you have some questions, please take notes.
But do you need to download or software in our home server or something like that?
Yes, Streamax Saber server must be installed on your own personal computer, or on your own server, or somewhere in the cloud. As for the testing period, for example, if you have a device sample and want to test it, then Streamax Technologies may provide you the access to their own trial server with RTMP service. But if it's already a production commercial solution, you need to install Streamax Saber server with RTMP service on your own personal computer.
Or in the customer's.
Or in the
depending
customer,
on the,
yes.
Depending on the customer.
Just on some personal computer or server.
You install the server and just communicate with the server through Wialon.
So, as you already understand from this diagram, the following functions are available for Streamax devices in Wialon. First of all, it is requesting video files, and the next function is live view and live video. So, I suggest to test these functions. I think it will be much better. We will use the following device for our tests. This device is installed in our office, in the room of the hardware integration department where I work in. So if you want to see this device, to test it in real life, you can visit our department. Now, first of all, let us test requesting video files from this device. On the whole, to work with video, to use Streamax devices with video functions, first of all, we need to make some settings before we start using these functions. For this purpose, we go to the unit properties. We go to device configuration section. I think it's familiar to you. And the following settings are mandatory. The first field is video server. What is the purpose of this field? The matter is that when you execute a command to request a video file from the Streamax device, this command has such mandatory field, mandatory parameter as the address of the server
to send video files to. So, and as we all know, the address of the server may be different. I mean, the address of Wialon server. It may be different because some of you use Wialon hosting, but some of you use Wialon local service. That is why right here, if you use Wialon local server, you just need to write the IP of your Wialon local server. If you use Wialon hosting, then this field is filled in by default, so you needn't change anything. The next setting which you need to do is to fill in field IP. As I already explained and showed you on the diagram, to view live video, Wialon communicates with the RTMP service. That is why it can be located, as I already explained as well, it can be located on different computers. That is why first we need to let Wialon know the address of this server. And we just fill in the IP of this server in this field and the address of the RTMP service. In our case, this is the address of Sabre server in our local network. And the next field which we must fill in is camera aliases. In fact, this field contains the identifiers of cameras. This field has a standard format. I will not explain it right now because it's a bit complicated, but in fact it's quite standard. And once you decide to test the StreamX device in Wialon, you need just write to us and we'll send you the manuals with screenshots. That's why just you don't need to remember, in fact, all that I'm telling you now. Just pay attention that you need make some settings in Wialon. So all the settings are already done.
Just one comment on that identifier. If your client is security conscious, make sure your people don't know the serial numbers of the other StreamX devices, because we just had this issue. There is no security checking, and we're looking at it now. We put the wrong ID in for the camera, and we got another client's camera coming up in the video.
Well, it may happen, in fact, if you use, for example, as far as I remember, you are now using a StreamX trial server, right? Yeah, that's, and in this case, yes, it's really so. If you know the ID of the device, and this device is connected to that server, yeah, in fact, you can just insert the ID of the device. Yeah, and you will see it's really so. You will see live video from that device. Yeah, that is why, in fact, it's your purpose. I don't know to keep the unique IDs in secret from other people.
Presumably, if you have your own RTP service running, right, you wouldn't run into the same.
No, it doesn't matter, because even if it's on the customer's premises, right? We found it by mistake because we copied and pasted the data to get the live video working, but I copied and pasted into a client's test server, and all of a sudden my device came up. What the hell? And then when we checked, it's looking at only on the ID. Now the StreamX, when you get them, the StreamX serial ID is nowhere on any of the documentation. They've changed it from what it used to be. They used to have the number on the device. Now it doesn't. You have to connect the device, and it will give you the serial number of the device. They do that for security reasons. Because dealing with video, the same thing, blur technology. I mean, there's a number of things that clients ask about certain geofences. You have to turn the video off. They will not allow you to run video in.
Yes, you are right, but in fact, your customers who use, for example, Ranger devices must know only the serial numbers of their own devices.
Yeah.
So in fact, it's quite difficult just to guess, you know, the
Can't
serial
you
number
add
of my
username
device.
and password for the server to access?
No
It
password.
bypasses the server. You're putting the ID of the device directly in. So if you've got
Yeah,
access to
but
the server,
let us discuss all these questions in the end. After I present StreamX device, then we'll discuss the questions. So all the settings are already done. Yeah, we close this field. So the next step is to create create the command which will request video file from the device. There are two types of commands which allow to request and download video files. The first type of the command is record live video. This command allows you to record current video from the device into a short file and then view the file in Wialon. And the next command is download history video. This command allows you to request a video clip from the hard disk of the device. From the hard disk of the device itself, download this video clip to Wialon servers and then view this file. So in fact, these commands work in the same way in Wialon. That is why, just for the purpose of testing, we will test this command, record live video. So let us give it the name. Record live. Okay, and then absolutely usual steps. You go to commands, select the command, then select the camera number, it can be 1, then you select the duration of the video clip. Here we have a certain limit. The length of the video file may be from 1 second to 20 seconds. For example, if you select 21, Wialon will not allow it. So in fact, it's not a restriction on the device itself. And maybe in future, we will raise this limit. But by our tests, the limit of 20 seconds is just a reasonable limit to download a file in good quality and in a reasonable time. Just for the purpose of testing, we will download a 5-second video file. We press OK. Then we see notifications in the chat with drivers. The purpose of these notifications is to keep us posted about the process of video download. So, and the main final notification is that video file from camera 1 was downloaded. You can see media icon on the bottom panel. You just click it and view the video file. So this is the wall in the room of the hardware integration department. If you visit our department, you will see it. So thus we can request current video from the device. Pay attention please that all video files which we download from StreamX devices are saved and stored in Wialon data center. So not somewhere, for example, on your personal computer, but in our data center. But for example, if you want to have this file on your own personal computer, or for example, to send it to someone by email or to store it in a special folder on your computer, it's very easy to do it. We just go to Messages. Just look at the screen. We select Messages from this device for today. Go to Latest Messages. And here we see the link to this video file. And this is the link to the video service in Wialon data center. In fact, you can view video file by clicking this icon too. And as for downloading video file, you need just copy this link, paste it in the browser. So just a usual link. Yeah, by the way, you can watch it in the browser itself. And then if you want to download it, you just press download this file. Now the file is downloaded to your own personal computer. You can save it, use it in a month, or for example, if you need it. If, for example, it was, an accident or some event such as overspeeding, etc. So it will be saved in your own personal computer.
Any restrictions on storage on Wialon data center?
Now there are no restrictions. And in fact, it's quite a problem. It became a problem for us because some of our partners are using this function extremely often. So, and in fact, the disk space occupied by video files in our servers is growing rapidly. That is why now we are thinking about moving the storage of video files to our FlashSP product. I believe many of you know about FlashSP. So, and in FlashSP, a certain amount of files, certain size, may be stored free of charge, but if you exceed this size, then it is charged. But it's now it's in plans.
How long can we start?
As for the flash spin, I cannot say right now. I believe it's just for all time that you need. And as for Wialon data center, usual messages are stored for 3 months, and the files are stored 3 months too. Of course, if you have extended period of storing messages, then video files are stored.
Could we route it to, say, Dropbox? So instead of sending it to the Wialon server, could we send the video to a different server?
You know, if you send it, for example, if you write some other server here, the IP of another server, it means that this server must be able to accept this file. It means that it must support Streamx N9M protocol. So it's not just for example an Amazon server. Just you push video file. No, because the process of interaction between Streamx device and Wialon server is quite difficult. It contains several steps, such as authorization, response from Wialon server, then Wialon server requests the stream, and so it's quite complicated.
Can't you just convert that to a standard format like MP4 and then allow us to push it to an alternative server?
In fact, we convert the file into MP4 format. So the link which I copied,
so
see, it's MP4. It's MP4 format.
In the effort of allowing us to use alternative storage, and it's an advantage to you as well, can't you do that process of converting to MP4 and then allow us to send to another IP address?
No, you mean automatically,
yes,
without copying the link?
Exactly.
It's not in our plans now, but I believe that our business, the person from our business analytic team who is standing right next to you is Tatiana. She takes notes. That's fine. It's a good suggestion.
Because the other way of doing it is what we're discussing with Streamx now is they do it. They already have the facility to create the MP4 file in the C2 app. What we've asked them to do is if we send a request to say, okay, I want this file, this history file from the device, then they will do the conversion and send the MP4 file. So it doesn't even come to Wialon at all.
Well, it can send Sabre server. Now we are talking about Wialon. Yeah. So let's discuss it a little later. I'll finish now.
Okay. What is the method of retrieving old videos? Is it only from the messages, or how do I retrieve an old video?
Yeah, that's another question. That was just what I was going to tell you about.
Okay.
So, of course, in many cases, you need to get the list of all downloaded video files. And it's quite easy to do it with the help of reports in Wialon. I think this functionality is also familiar to you. So we go to reports, press new, and create a new report. Let's call it video report. Then we select new table. We have a special table for video files. It is called video. Press OK. Then we also go to settings. This is just for future. I will show it with another device type. And we select video markers. What it means that you want to see where and when the video file was downloaded and see it on the track of the vehicle. And we press OK. So now we have video report. Then we select the unit. And for example, we want to have the list of all downloaded video files for the last 2 days. Then we select the range from tomorrow till today, press execute, and we have all video files. These are the files which I requested yesterday, and this is our file which I have just requested. So we have the list of all downloaded video files.
Okay,
did you mean this?
Yes, I meant this, but the date here is the date that you requested the file, not the date the file was recorded. I may forget when I requested to download the file. is there a way to download the file that was recorded on a specific date or specific time?
This time is the time when you downloaded the file itself.
Not the time that it was
not the
recorded.
time. For Streamx devices, it's not the time.
Yes.
There are other device types, which I'll tell you about a little later. For those devices, it is the time of the video itself in the download file. But in this case, it is the time when you downloaded video file. If you use the command to record live video, in fact, it is record live video. In fact, it is the time of the file itself too.
Yes.
Yeah, because it is a current time.
But if you download
If you use the command download history video, yeah. In this case, of course, there is some misunderstanding maybe, yeah. No. But for other device types, the situation is different, and I will show you a bit later.
What alarm video?
What?
Alarm video.
Alarm video. Streamx devices may record. I talked to them. They may record alarm videos. We discussed with them the possibility to download alarm videos, but this is only now in plans. So we discussed with them the possibility to download alarm video files recorded in the device automatically from Wialon. But in fact, we tend to postpone a little all automatic downloads, at least until FLESP solution comes to
But
life.
you can still get the alarm videos using the C2 application.
Yes. So you can combine.
Yeah.
Saber server is more for video, but to combine, for example, video and fleet management, of course, Wialon is much better. But still, you may use a Saber server. So in any way, you saw on the diagram that it's necessary to use Saber server. That's why you may just use several functions from that software.
The video from the device to the Wialon is sent by 4G or Wi-Fi?
This device is now in our local Wi-Fi network. But of course, it's a usual device. You just insert the SIM card. It can be 3G, 4G, but according to our multiple tests, 4G is preferable, especially as for live video. In fact, 3G is not enough for live video.
4G.
Yeah, because the picture freezes very often, so it's not smooth. So that is why, but when I tested 4G with one of our partners in Dubai, and I don't know, maybe they used 4G plus, so the video was really excellent. So in fact, this is all about Streamx device type. That's why we can devote a pair of minutes to your questions.
Another question, please. Does the video include tags about because now we are linking GPS to video. So does it include tag where the vehicle is now, for instance, or something like that?
Let's just check the video itself. You can select it. Now, you see on the video itself,
yes.
If the location, if GPS is fixed, then you see the coordinates of the vehicle. But here you usually see the coordinates, but now the device is in our room and it cannot catch GPS signal.
Okay.
So this is the way to know where the vehicle was at that moment.
Again, you need to talk to your client because the analytics that they do, what we found, the guys doing the video analytics are different from the guys monitoring the movement of the truck. So in the C2 app, when you run the video, it will show you all of what the device was doing. So what the accelerometer settings were, what its speed was, what its location was, including alarm cameras. So when you run the track in their app, you'll see the red markers for the alarms and the video will pop up on all streams. So if you have 4 cameras connected, we have 7 cameras connected to a truck. So all 7 cameras will come up depending on which one you've asked to be the
John is promoting Saber server.
No, I mean all the devices work the same way. It's not just Streamer Howland does it, they all do the same. When you get into the video world, as everybody always says, oh, but what about data usage? Yeah? You want to turn on a 1080p stream, you better put a SIM card in. We chewed up 6 gig in less than a week on using a mobile device when we were streaming video to see how much it would take.
Okay. So now let us finish with Streamx. Now at this point, so by the way, we'll be able to discuss all other questions at our workshop, which will take place on the 16th. So I'll be one of the monitors at this workshop. It will be also called Video Solutions in Wialon. And at this workshop, we'll be able to discuss all your questions. So now let's move on to another device type. This device type is Hero ME device from Chinese company Wialon Technologies. In fact, if you look at the slides and let us compare it to the diagram for Streamx device type, it's nearly absolutely the same. And in fact, it's the most common pattern of communication for video solutions in Wialon. That's why it's not necessary to explain this diagram once again. And of course, the main difference is the server which is used for viewing live video. In this case, it is Hoven RTMP server. And this server was specially developed by Wialon Technologies to make it possible to view live video in Wialon. So in fact, they had no this solution, but for us, they did it. In fact, absolutely is the same. The commands to request video files, viewing live video, that's why let us just test it. Because in fact, this device is quite popular in Wialon. So I believe we must test it and see how it works.
They're going to be here
in fact, they're here right now in our room. Yeah. So if you want to talk to them, yeah, you can do it. That is why we select the device which is called Hoven Video. This unit is also in our office. And Wialon also provides two commands to request video files. The command to record live video and the command to download history video. We already tested the command to record live video with Streamx. That is why now I suggest to test the command to download history video. In this case, by the way, all the settings are nearly the same. I have already done all the settings. Then we go to commands and let us create the command to download video from the device. In this case, not from the device hard disk, but from the device SD card, because Hoven records video to SD cards. We name the command, press OK, and then usual steps. Oh. Yeah, now we have this command. Next, then we select the start date, start time of the video. Let it be, for example, 11 o'clock. About 50 minutes ago, we select the camera number and the duration was 5 seconds just for our tests, and press OK. And again, we see notifications. And now we have the notification that video file was downloaded. We press media icon on the bottom panel. And we can view the file. If you see the time, it's 11 o'clock. So this is the video from the past. So, and again, of course, all functions are available for Hoven devices too. So you can go to reports, select video report, and press execute. By the way, here is what I wanted to show you. Now we generated the report, and the GPS position is fixed for this device, and you can see video markers on the track. So in this case, you see when and where you downloaded the video file, and you can view this file by clicking What View. So in fact, it's quite convenient, especially if you use the command to record the video, so you know where on the track this situation happened. And again, like in case with Streamx devices, all video files are stored, in case of Hoven devices, also in Wialon data center. So if you have questions about Hoven devices, then we have several times.
I bought 5 samples of that model, and we failed the test. We tried several times, talked to the Hoven guys, and I'm looking forward to meeting them. And we were very frustrated one, they used to overheat.
But what failed?
I'm
Video,
explaining.
live video, or
Yeah,
what?
one thing is that they were overheating physically.
Overheating.
Yeah. Two, the image would be black, half of it is black, and then sometimes it just never worked. And I'm wondering whether your experience is different, because you said that Owen is quite popular.
It's quite popular, and by the way, let us test view and live video. We press. Let us use it. You will see that video is quite good.
Maybe it's me, but maybe I'll just talk to them.
If you're using SD cards, they've got to be good quality SDs, otherwise they'll fail.
No, it's live video, so it's directly from the device. So it's not the video from the SD card. So the video is quite good. Of course, a lot depends on where this server is located. So you know, I believe that you used a Hoven trial RTMP server, and it is located in China, in Shenzhen.
Yeah,
so that is why, of course, the route is very long. That is why, if you want to have a high quality live video, of course, you need to install RTMP server somewhere in your location, where your vehicles move. Of course, it's natural. Yeah, some of our partners tested, for example, in Latin America. So of course, it's even far. So of course, the live video wasn't as good.
Yeah, it also depends on how that video is set up. Because if you're doing live streaming, and the telco is not good, that live streaming will break up. You'll have all sorts of trouble because it's not buffering. When you request it from the device, that video is already recorded, so it'll send you back a file, basically a buffered file. But live video, because we have a lot of the customers say, oh, but today it's not working. Yeah, well, where's your truck? Because if that provider area, if you're running 3G or 4G, doesn't matter. If the provider is bad in that area, the device still has to get that video file back. Right? And the customers don't understand it because they expect to see it as if they downstream the movie from Netflix. It doesn't work that way. When you go live, it is live from the box. There's no buffering. What you are seeing is a live video. Telco has a loss in the connection, or the connection becomes unstable. You'll see it in the video straight off.
Yeah. So, any questions about Hoven?
Yeah. Another thing is to toggle between Wi-Fi and 3G or 4G. That's very important for some customers, but Hoven was unable to do that. Of course, I'm also using Smart Witness, and for them, they just say they can't do it. So we were glad to hear that Hoven could try to do it, or that they do it, but it didn't work.
Do you mean sending video files via Wi-Fi?
Yeah, and to toggle automatically. If the MDVR is in a Wi-Fi zone that it recognizes, it switches off the 4G and switches to the Wi-Fi automatically.
In fact, according to my communication with the Hoven team, their devices are supposed to support this function. I mean, automatical switching to Wi-Fi. Because
is it working? Because they're very good at
we didn't test it, but in fact we communicated, and they wanted us to support this function from Wialon side.
See, I think you're referring to the lab condition. He's referring to the field when it is moving from one location to another location. So that could be different.
Yeah.
Maybe, but according to that statement, it must work. Automatically downloading via Wi-Fi.
So you're installing in trucks or buses?
In vehicles, buses, and combination of vehicles.
They all run hot. I mean, that's the first thing we found with them. They run real hot. So you got to have you got to make sure there's a lot of cooling area around the device. Because you're talking about basically it's a mini PC is what you're running, and those PCs, they don't have any fans in them.
But their recommended installation location is actually beneath the driver's chair.
Yeah.
So there's going to be no cooling down there.
But it's got to be off what we found is you don't use their mounts. If you don't lift it up and have it air circulating underneath it, it'll overheat.
Well, I hope that Leon from Hoven is watching us now, because we have a screen near our room, and he's there, and I believe he's watching us just for him to take notes.
Because their specs are really good on paper. They just need to make them work.
Okay, so we can discuss, by the way, we can discuss it more thoroughly on our workshop during Wialon, so you're welcome to this workshop too. So let us move to the next device type. It is Civision IVG400M. So now please look at the slide, because the scheme of communication in this case is different. So let me explain.
Can you make it big screen? We can increase, please. Can you make it big screen?
Yes. Yeah. So the pattern of communication is a bit different. Here is the device in a bus. Here is Wialon server. So in this case, GPS data with different parameters are sent directly to Wialon server. But as for requesting video files and viewing live video, Wialon communicates with two types of servers. For requesting video files, Wialon communicates with Civision downloader server. And for viewing live video, Wialon web application communicates with SV web server. In fact, this is quite similar to Hoven and Streamax, but this part of the scheme is different. So let me explain what happens when we request video files from Civision devices. I think. So when we execute the command to download video file from the device, Wialon server here sends the request to the SV downloader server. And SV downloader server sends the request to the device itself. And pay attention to the following. The device sends the requested video file back to the SV downloader server, not to Wialon server. And as SV downloader server is installed somewhere on your own personal computer or somewhere in the cloud, it means that you receive this file and you can use it, store it all the time that you need. But of course, according to this scheme of communication, you need installed two kinds of servers. The first server is Civision downloader server for storing and requesting video files, and the next server is SV web server. In fact, they are just software. That is why they can be installed on one physical computer. So I hope that it's clear, and we can move to testing. Yes, and as for the scheme, just I need to mention one more thing. As the files are stored here, Wialon then requests video links to these files, and then you can view the files in the Wialon web application. So let's just test this device. There is also a very interesting peculiarity as far as live video is concerned, and I will show it a little later when we'll test the live video. So before testing video functions, by the way, here are two of the units which we will test. The first unit, Civision office, is located in the headquarters of Civision company, and the second unit is located in the United Kingdom in a real bus. So that is why a live video will be quite interesting, I believe, because it's a real commercial project. So before downloading video files, we need to make some settings in Wialon. So first, to view live video, we fill in field IP, and this field contains the IP of Civision web server for viewing live video. Then we also fill in the address of the downloader server, where all the video files are stored. And then we fill in field gateway UID. This field contains the unique ID of this unit in the database of the downloader server. Usually, in fact, it is the same as the unique ID of the device in Wialon, but now it's a little bit more complicated. So we press OK, and OK here. So, and as I explained you on the diagram, all files are stored in the C downloader server. That is why we need a tool in Wialon which retrieves the links to these video files. And we need it to be done automatically. For example, once every 2 minutes, once every 3 minutes or so. Just whatever you need. We have this tool in Wialon, and it's called jobs. A job is an action, maybe you know it. A job is an action that can be performed at a predefined schedule. For example, once a minute, once 2 minutes or so. I have already created the job. It is called request video links for Civision Office. I will not explain right now how it works, because in fact, if you want to test it, again, we have manuals, just write us and we will send you the manuals. So, but everything is ready now. So let's get it together. I know that a lot of time has already passed, but let us test it.
The job can be done on the Hoven as well as Streamex also? Yeah.
A job is a function of Wialon.
Okay.
It just can be done for many different situations. But in this case, a job is used to retrieve video clips, the links to video clips. But it can be used for any other purposes. So now let us test requesting video files. Let us wait a little. We have the following command to request video files from the device. This command is called download video. I have already created this command. That is why we need just test it. We go to commands, select command download video, select next, and let us select, for example, at the same time 11 o'clock. Then pay attention to the following. The duration that you can select is up to 5 minutes. So for StreamX devices and phone devices, the limit was 20 seconds. The matter is that video files in this case are stored in Civision downloader server. And that is why the limit is so high. So in fact, you can download very long video. So all that you need to pay attention to is that, of course, a 5-minute video will be downloaded for a very long time. But still, you can get the clips of such a big length. So let us select maybe, well, let it be 10 minutes. And then we write the name of the camera. I know the name of this camera, but I will show you a little later how to get the names of all cameras. And we press OK. We see the notification that the command was sent, and the clip ID is not empty. It means that as we download the server already generated the ID of this clip. It means that the command succeeded. So now we needn't do anything because we have a job which will retrieve the link to this video file, and we'll view it a little later when we will see the icon media active. So now let us test, I think, a more interesting thing. Let us test this video. So all we need is just to click icon camera. And now we are viewing the video. And there is a very important difference in this case. I mean the difference between Civision devices and Hoven and StreamX devices. Let us just compare. For example, let us open. So, in fact, these are two different ways of the integration of live video. So this is the video from Hoven one device. This is live video from Streamers device. So as you can see, the interface is the same. You can select the camera, make it, for example, full screen. And if you go here, you see that the interface is different. So what is the difference here? When we view live video from Hovin and Streamers devices, Wialon uses its own native video player. This player was developed by our company. It was tested, and you can view video via RTMP protocol. And as for Civision devices, when you open live video, Wialon just opens the link to the video player which was developed by Civision company. That is why it has its own unique interface and its own unique functions. And in fact, these are two ways of how live video can be integrated with Wialon. Just I want to pay your attention to one interesting to my mind function. This function is called playback. Here is the button. It means that you can not only watch live video, but you can click playback. And let us, for example, play video from some moment at night, for example. So we just select, for example, 5 o'clock in the morning and press play. So we see that it is 5 o'clock and we can play all the video from that time. So in fact, it's quite an interesting function. That is why just pay attention to it. So we can, in fact, we can play it for 5 minutes, for an hour if you need it. But of course, it's the matter of traffic.
So you're only using APIs. Rest everything is done by Civision server.
In this case, yes. We just open the link to the video player, which is developed by Civision. So there are two types of integration. Either we use our own native video player, or any player which can be developed by the manufacturer. So yes, now as far as I remember, there is a special limit which cuts the video, not to waste the traffic. But it's reconnecting again to live video. So, and again, of course, we can use reports. All functions are available. By the way, let us use the report. Yes, and I just promised to show you live video from real vehicle. It's IVG test United Kingdom. Let us press. Here we see video from a bus in the United Kingdom. So all functions such as playback are also available. So it's quite an interesting deal. So in fact now it's already time to go to coffee break. So do you have any questions about Civision? Or no?
What the data integration in Wialon local? Is it the same way or?
Yes, it is absolutely the same way. If you use Wialon Local 18, the last version of Wialon Local, then it fully supports live video. Live video and other commands. And it's the same.
Is there? Do you have to pay for the service of Civision? You're using the data server? No?
No, it is the server which you install on your own personal computer, so it's your server.
Okay.
As I know, there is no charge for this server.
You mean for Civision, we install that application on our own personal cloud or PC, or it's
yes, you install SV download the server on your own personal computer or somewhere in the cloud. And the files are stored or either on your own personal computer or in the cloud as well.
But again, you need to, what we're facing at the moment in 2 countries now is the restriction on the server cannot be out of country, or it's got to be in the customer's premises. They will not allow, particularly video, depending on who your customer is. Like I said, we had one issue where the customer said, right, these geo zones, you must not record on the device at all. It's completely secure. They will not allow you to not just block the video, it cannot record. So the device that we're using, it actually does that. And they pulled the hard drive and they checked that the device was not recording in that area.
Okay.
So you have to talk to your customer about what the thing is, because we're facing now the issue about privacy, where they're requesting a blur function that the monitoring room cannot see the passenger's face in the monitoring room. The admin guy can go in there and put in the code and then they can see it, but for normal, ordinary video, privacy issues, GDPR, I mean, it's already had a massive effect on.
So as I see, everybody is a little bit tired except for John. So I believe it's time to go and enjoy our coffee break. So if you have more questions, or if you, for example, want to share your own experience or your own ideas, or to suggest some ideas, so that is why you are welcome to our workshop Video Solutions in Wialon. It will be held in Beijing Hotel. We will have more than an hour to discuss absolutely all your questions. So because it will not be a training, we will be just discussing and sharing our experience. So thank you for.
In addition to that, on Friday, StreamX is going to be doing the training themselves. Yeah, this Friday, 11:45.
By the way, all the manufacturers presented during the training will take part in our conference. So you will be able to talk to them. Savision and one more company, unfortunately, we had Smart Witness as well. I was going to present it, but there was the shift in time because the previous training finished within later.
Thank you.
Yes.
So, which one?
Thank you.
Which do you think is cheaper?
Cheaper. Cheaper.
The Chinese one.
Maybe Holland Technologies.
Okay. But from
Holland Technologies.
The first one that you.
The second one. StreamX, then Holland Technologies.
But the Servition is. It's now
Israel.
Is what?
It's from Israel. The last is Savision and it is from Israel.
You talk about 3? Or 2?
About 3.
I was there. Okay.
Because the first two were quite similar as far as the communications.
Oh, the cheap.
Maybe, but of course it depends on the accessories which you purchase on the number of cameras. But I believe that StreamX and Holland, they are China devices, so they're a little cheaper, for example, than Savision. Is so the price is a little bit more.
And in Holland you need a server as well?
For Holland? Yes, one server to view this video. Yes, we can.
Do you think to set the server?
This server is to view with video, and it must be installed as closer to your location.
We have support to help us to set the server from the manufacturer?
Yes, Holland helps to install this server, as well as.
They are from China as well?
They are from China, as well as StreamX. They help to install StreamX Saver server.
Okay,
they help us to install.
It takes time, or it takes a lot of time to set the server? Weeks, months?
In fact, I don't know because my colleagues installed it. Maybe yes, a day. Yeah, we did a day.
Yep, that's it.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thank you. Nice to meet you. I'm George from Wialon in France.
So we communicate together and these two are today. Not the time to test your. Thank you very much. Not the time to test your last job I will test probably yes. Yes. I probably test August is next week.
Also communicated. By the way, you are the distributor.
Streamex in India. You're distributor Streamex. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the video player steps out for the features that they have, right?
We'll see you later. Thank you very much.
So you are using devices.
Yes. No major issue. See, these are mobile devices, and this is video, and this is very sensitive stuff. So we have about 300 plus devices online until now.
They are already commercial devices.
Commercial devices. Yes. Buses, trucks. We have about 20 trucks of Amazon who are picking up mobile phones from the distributor and taking to the Amazon warehouses. 4 cameras, 5 cameras.
What about video functions? Video functions which are presented as well, or do you use?
No, so we use video from Siba and we use all the tracking and everything from my. So the customer has 2 interfaces. And in fact, I made one application which is bus OK for school bus, where I'm pulling the Wialon data, members data, and RTM video data together.
So remember, you should present.
Yes, recording, no wireless transmission, right?
I'll be happy to receive your advice. Video is very exciting.
You can already test it. 300 devices.
In fact, 320.
How long have you been there distributing?
Almost 1 year.
1 year. When did you become?
6 after 3 weeks, because it was only video. It did not have enough tracking functionality, and when I wanted to develop my own application, I did not want to depend on one hardware supplier, because I wanted a solution which is hardware agnostic, so I can use Wialon or anything. That's why I chose Wialon. Okay, hardware I have, but tomorrow if Streamex is not playing funny, I can replace that with any other hardware. So that was the strategy.
So on the whole, you use Sega and Wialon and it's okay. Yes, I understand. So just a combination of
just combination. Some customers use video more. Some customers use Wialon more. Some use my bus OK more.
So it means that you even don't need further development of video functions in Wialon. It's enough
if it can happen, it's great. If it can happen, it's great. Then it can substitute. Like if Flisby, I will visit there. I had put that to Anna that I want to know more what Flisby can do. So I will ask if it can happen. Then customer always wants one user interface.
Rajiv.
Oui, mais en fait, c'est ce qu'on disait là.